Okay, so what I was thinking is that I was contemplating on one particular statement made by Asaji when he met, or Sariputta met Asaji, when he was in search for the Dhamma. So, as shown in that video, where yeah,
I forgot to tell. We already had one discussion, one session on Anitya, right? Some month back.
no, I wanted to now that people we are also looking at Ajahn Chah. He talks about uncertain.
Okay.
Okay, so now when we look at impermanence, uncertain, and so many different versions of that
Mm.
Anicca and Anitya Bodh. Now,
Mm. And what Lam says is also a little bit different. He's not reproducible. Right?
yes,
What is his word? I forgot. You cannot reproduce the same feeling again.
yeah. So whatever way we would like to put that in word, but can we experience that all that in our uh, meditation or in a daily life? That was my that was the thing I was contemplating for last few days. That can I experience that? If yes, then like I'm talking to Ashutosh and he keeps on telling me Anitya Bodh is what he would like to achieve.
He's not active nowadays. I thought he's gone in retreat.
No, 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 no. He is there. He is teaching my wife yoga. So in the evening we meet, but he's not joining in the morning for whatever reason. But then we then continue our talk, and then he keeps on telling me his objective is what is that? Anitya Bodh. So I thought, let us cover that. If somebody has the same kind of thought process, then it will help him or her to understand how they can experience, or including three of us right, at present. So the first statement where this is said in terms of how it can be experienced between the talk from Asaji to Sariputta, or at that time there was no Sariputta, whatever was his previous name. Okay, Kotila. Uh, so what he says, Asaji, when questioned, he says, "Ye dhamma hetu hetu pabhava." Okay, ye dhamma hetu pabhava tesam dhammam tatagato aha. This is the perfect Pali word to explain everything about Buddha Dhamma. Ye dhamma hetu pabhava tesam dhammam tatagato aha. Yes, Ari.
I was just looking at the sutta. I think it is tesam hetum tathagata aha.
Fine, it doesn't really matter. Tesam hetum, that is that cause and effect is what the teacher Tathagata teaches. Okay, so let's break it down and see where this comes, where Anicca comes in this whole, because that made him a Sotapanna. So can we get a effect that I'm a Sotapanna already?
You have not given the link. Which sutta it is?
I have not told about the sutta. It is in the first discussion between them. Maybe I can send it. Or
I just shared it, Sachin,
Okay,
on the
thank
chat,
you. Thank you.
of course.
okay, what is Dhamma? Can any one of you answer from what you know?
Ithai sutta.
Phenomena.
No.
Dhamma or Dhamma, you said.
A Dhamma. Dhamma. Dhamma
Acha.
is teaching.
Okay.
Dhamma
Dhamma.
is
Yeah. Yeah. Phenomenon. Yeah.
phenomena. What is phenomena?
Since we have neuroscience, whatever occurs in brain is phenomena.
Yeah. Or rather, best way to do it is anything you bring up anything you bring up, you in the sense including that you is brought up, okay, that has a cause because you brought up. Okay. Ye dhamma hetu prabhava. In Sanskrit, it is prabhava, which is effect. So, if, as an example, we take a cot. Cot is a thing, but you brought up a cot. Now, when you bring it a cot, it keeps on going away. You can't hold that cot because it is dhamma. Whether you call it as phenomena or a thing or whatever, that's what we should understand, that if it is brought up, samudaya, vyaya is going to be there.
Cot as in the bed, right? The
Cot or bed or whatever, or cot is a cot. There is a word in English called cot, C-O-T.
Okay. I'm looking it up.
Yep. I don't know what it is called in American English for a cot.
It shows these expandable beds, like this collapsible bed.
Now, whatever. See, the one what you had slept at my home is called as cot,
Oh.
which has 4 legs and a frame. Okay, forget about cot. Let's take a table. I think that would be the same, irrespective of whether it's an American English or European English or whichever English that is. A table. Table is brought up. So basically, anything that you conceptualize is Dhamma. It has a cause and effect. It should be. So easy way to put is of things that arise from a cause. Whatever thing you brought up from a cause. Tesam dhammam. Okay. Or tesam hetu. Dhamma is the hetu, the cause. Tathagata aha. So that hetu, cause, Tathagata knows. That means he knows everything about how things arise and how things pass away. So when we use the word Anitya as an impermanence, it means that there is a cause and effect. There's a causal relationship between that same object. If we were to use Anitya. So when I say Anitya Bodha, Bodha is to know. Do I know Anitya in its entirety? Meaning how the cause, what has caused it? How the table came into existence? Do I know it? Or do I consider it as a table? If I consider a table, it becomes Nitya, everlasting, ever being there. Because I keep on calling table, a table, a table. So when I keep on calling table, it becomes a permanent entity. Right? Every day I'm seeing the table. This table, through which we have done so many sessions, exists. So it is not having any death here. I can't see the table not being there. But do I know the causation of the table? If yes, and then I understand Anicca. Anicca, that one. Not Anitya or not uncertain nor whatever I want to define it as. Yes, Elio.
To understand the anicca, do you have to understand the cause also? Because that sounds like
That is a causal relationship, right? So now there are 2 ways of understanding Anicca. One way of understanding Anicca is through the Anatta Lakkana. The Lakkana of that is Anatta. Like table doesn't have a self. In the same way, Vilas doesn't have a self. It's conditions which are come together to be called as Vilas. It's not Vilas as an entity is there. If I were to put it to a human being like this, it's appeared on the cause, not just appeared because it just wanted to appear. So when the cause is removed, the appearance is also gone. Do I see it that way is my question to myself. That's the contemplation. Do I see it that way, or do I just say that it is Anitya?
Yeah, and last session also we said, right? Some sutta we were referring. Anitya, Paticca Samutpanno, that
Correct.
whole line.
Correct. So when we...
That is the full definition of Anicca.
Yes, that is the full definition of Anicca. Complete. So in the Pachaya Sutta, Buddha explains the difference between Paticca Samutpanna and Paticca Samutpada, which we had covered earlier, but that is most important because this line, what we are talking about, Ye Dhamma Hetu Pabhava Tesam Hetum Tatagato Aha. This is the first thing which happens to Sariputta. He understands. How did he understand? What made him to understand? What made him to discern? He understood the Anatta Lakkana of it. How? Cause and effect is Anatta. If there is a cause, there is an effect. If there is no cause, there is no effect. Right? So if you look at Patisamutpada, it's Hetu Pabhava only, cause and effect. So what Buddha teaches is cause and effect, law of causation. In the first, Ye Dhamma Hetu Pabhava is one. Tesam Hetum, that cause, Tatagato Aha, is known by the Tathagata. So if you were to ask, how did Vilas happen? I go to the Buddha. He would say, this is how Vilas happened. How? Well, Vilas came into existence by association of mother and father. Yes. Then what happened? Then the mother and father were eating. Yes, that's correct. And they were eating porridge or rice or whatever they were eating. And based upon that, a condition arose. Why this condition? The karmic is a condition for appearance, not because Vilas wanted to appear. Okay, so there's a deed. That's a hetu. And what's the effect? When that is the hetu, the body is the effect of it. So the body undergoes into that okkantiya sati namarupa. So there's a jati, sanjati, okkanti. So if I were to say, I am eternal, nitya, or I don't undergo change as Vilas, the name is not undergoing any change, to be honest. The day I was born, or rather after few months or few weeks of my birth, they named me as Vilas. That has not undergone any change. But the underlying principle has got completely changed. I am missing the Hetu Pabhava there. So one who makes this cause and effect known is a Tathagata. So he explains this, and what is the thing I get? Anatta. The Lakkana of Anatta is seen. There's no person as Vilas. It exists as long as the body is existing. Body is existing, but as long as the consciousness exists. So the moment the consciousness departs, can you still call it as vilas? No. They call it as a dead body. And they ask, when is the funeral? What time is the funeral? When is the body coming? Let's say I was hospitalized. I was, meaning that person was hospitalized. Now I died. That I, whatever was there, died. It was anatta from beginning, but let's say for conventional sake, we use I, died. Then the next moment, what do they say? They give a call to the family saying that we are sorry, we couldn't rescue. He's dead. Who? Whoever was there was dead. Is dead. The next line is, when will I get the body? Immediately, just immediately. The very next sentence the person is going to ask is, give me the body. And they would say, till the payment is made, we can't give you the body. We can't hand over the body. So the paperwork has to happen.
Even when we are sleeping in deep sleep, when we wake up, there is no Sachin.
Yeah, there's no Sachin.
Sachin is constructed when I fully wake up.
Yes.
And that is in every day it happens many a time. There is
Yes,
no Sachin. There is no Sachin if I, let's say, in deep sleep, deep samadhi also.
Yes.
When I get out of samadhi, Sachin is constructed again.
Yes. So first let's take a death situation and we come to what you're saying is very right. I wanted to bring this up. It's nice that you brought it up. So now, can I, this I, whatever I'm calling I, become anatta? Can it? If yes, you have understood the cause and effect. So you are now Sotapanna by this very definition. How? You don't have a self view now.
You mean to say this Sachin is not me, not mine if I have
Grasped it. Yes.
Clear.
Yes. Clearly, if you have grasped it, then you are Sotapanna. No
Yes,
doubt.
I am very much Sotapanna.
That's all what it is. So he became Sotapanna. Who? Sariputta. With this word. And he adds another one to that. What is that? Yam kinchi samudaya dhammam. Sabbam tam nirodha dhammam. So these are two things and he goes away. And that makes Sariputta think and think and think about it. If anything that arises, samudaya, like a sunrise, you should have sunset, attangam, or nirodha. Whatever you bring up, I say this calendar day today, September 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. So what it means, that it's gone. The 4th is gone, the 3rd is gone, the 2nd is gone, the 1st is gone. Like that. It can never come back. So even what Goenka says as Anitya is the same effect. You will not get back. The day is gone in your life because it's just concept. Anything that is conceptual will not stay. So everything is conceptual in our nature. The month, it's concept. So now you have a calendar. So somebody goes lunar calendar, somebody goes by solar calendar, somebody says that Chinese calendar, somebody says Hindu calendar, somebody says Hebrew calendar, somebody says, let's say Islam calendar of this calendar, then Zoroastrian calendar. But what are you talking? It's only the concept. On what?
Concept of time is also a concept.
It's still a concept. It's still a concept. So when I say calendar, what am I doing? I'm conceptualizing something based upon what? Appearance of sun and moon and stars. Are they eternal? No. They are also coming out of causes. Ye dhamma hetu pabhava. That's all what it is. Tesam hetum tatagato aha. So you take anything, you will have an answer to that. Because the thing has been brought about. Of the things that arises out of a cause. That cause is known to the Tathagata. And he teaches that. What's the cause? So what am I in search for? The cause of my birth. So he is able to explain to me the cause of my birth. And hence, the first thing I understand to form myself, discern it, is anatta. There is no I-ness and there is no mine-ness in this. It's the cause and effect. The body came from the womb and they brought it up, and my mother was happy. And after a few weeks, they named me Vilas. What if they had named me Suresh? Would I really matter? No. In fact, they had named me, I have 3 names, even today, as I speak. The first name is Guru Raj. Okay. And he has 5 names, Shreyas. Okay. So they named me Guru Raj. And they didn't call me Guru Raj. Even from the time I was born, they're calling me Raja. I don't know where the Guru went. With whom he went, I don't know. But I'm no longer called as Guru Raj. I'm called as Raja. And my father felt Raja is a very traditional name. We should have something uber name. At that time in Maharashtra, people used to get jobs. So my father had a vision that if they keep this name, I will not get a job. So he named me Vilas. There's a reason, because it is very closer to the Maharashtrian name. Meaning, there used to be time, during his time, there used to be fight between the South Indian and the West Indian community, and people used to work in Bombay. And Bombay was a place where you get employment, and people started renaming themselves in fear that they will be sent out of Bombay. So in 1960s till 68, 61 to 68, 7 years, people changed their names. So all my relatives changed their names to make themselves look like a Maharashtrian name. Okay. So some of them, they made like this Vilas is a perfect Maharashtrian name. But the last name is not Maharashtrian. So what my father had initially thought about is change that Kadival to Kadivalkar. If they add KAR, it becomes pure Maharashtrian. So in my family, half of them speak Kannada and another half of them speak only Marathi. And the other half of them speak Hindi. So if we all meet, we don't know Kannada, we don't speak in Kannada, nor we speak in Marathi, we speak in Hindi. That's the language we all know. So if we all meet as a cousins and uncles and aunts and everyone being there, we don't understand each other's language. So we have to speak in Hindi. Okay. So if a North Indian were to come to our home when we all are talking, he wouldn't feel that we are South Indian in any given sense. Or even a West Indian, we speak Hindi at home. This is how this conceptualization works. Now you see this fun. Born as nothing, named as something, language as something, customs as something. This thing is Anicca. The thing. whatever that thing is. You can call it as Anitya, you can call it as impermanent, call it as Anicca, call it as arising and passing away, call it by whatever given language or connotation you can give. But that thing itself is Anicca. Because its nature is anatta. If really Vilas was there, or Guru Raj was there, would he not fought when the name was changed from Guru Raj to Raja? Would he not fought? Why he should accept? In fact, if my uncle, he still calls me Guru Raj, and I say, yes, uncle, tell me. And my aunt calls me Raja, and I also say, yes, aunt, tell me. Same uncle and aunt, right? But I can answer as Guru Raj for one and Raja as for another. How? Because if there was an Atta, you wouldn't be able to do that. So tomorrow my name is changed. I become a monk. And they give me one monk name. Okay. I accept to that. In fact, I'll be more than happy to accept. I mean, what happened to Vilas? Dead. What happened to Raja? Dead. What happened to Guru Raj? Dead. As we speak, if my name is Vilas, then the Raja and the Guru Raj are both dead. They no longer exist. Can I see it like that? If yes, I've seen what? Anatta nature. And the thing which came, Guru Raj or Raja or Vilas, is only a formal name for a nominal form, which is Nama and Rupa. Yes.
So this is just an example because I am a bundle of lot of identification. I am Kannada, I am Gujarati is one identity. But I might say, yeah, I know I am not Sachin. This is just a conventionally they are calling me, but I am. Right?
Yeah, for that.
So for that matter, it is a collection of lot of things.
Yes.
Which includes I am.
Yes. So.
And all that are impermanent.
Yes. So for then he says, how do you know? How do you now gauge it? He says by 5 aggregates. If somebody wants to define you, that whatever you or I, they will be defining you with 5 aggregates only. They cannot define in any other way. And all of that is anatta as well as anicca. So if I say Vilas, okay, explain Vilas. Rupa, form. But there are many suttas we went through where he says, I am within form. Yes, Shreyas. Shreyas, you raised your hand.
By mistake might be.
Maybe. So if I say I am Vilas, should be Rupa. It should be Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, Varna, Rasa, Gandha, Oja. These are the only way I can say this is Vilas. There is no other definition to be given. So I have to say this Rupa. Or this Rupa, this kind of feeling. So feeling coming through eyes and ears and nose and tongue and body and the mind. Only in this I can say Vilas. Then perception. That is the sight and sound and taste and touch and smell and thoughts are the perception. Then the sankhara, the intention. I intend my eye to see this, ear to hear that, nose to do this, like that. And the experiencer is the Vijnana. It is providing whatever you want. You think you are Vilas, okay, here it is, enjoy Vilas. You are not Vilas, okay, enjoy. So, Chakku Vijnana basically means that which connects one to another. It connects the Rupa with the Chakku. And that's it. Its job is done. So if anybody were to define and what we are talking about, I am not Sachin, I am not Vilas, but if anyone wants to define who you are, they can only do by 5 aggregates. They can't define in any other way. And in many suttas, Buddha says, if somebody comes and argues me, they can define themselves in a different way. They can't. Only these 5 aggregates only they have to be talking about. And I am not in those 5 aggregates. So then, Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara Vinyana is anatta. There's no atta. If I can contemplate like this, what happens? It opens up the yeah.
And if someone defines himself in this with the boundary of 5 aggregates, that is Sakkaya.
Yes, that's correct. So when I say I exist, I'm basically in Sakkaya Ditthi. So I'm creating a collection and saying this collection is me. Kaya is a collection. And Kaya is also body, because body is collection of something. So in fact, Ayurveda explains it so beautifully. It's so near to Buddha Dhamma. Kshiryate iti sharira. Let's take that word. Kshiryate iti sharira. Sharira is another word for Kaya. But this is more profound. Kshiryate means that decays. And that is Sharira. If anything that is decaying is Sharira. In vegetable also, the Sharira, and it decays. In human body, it decays. Animal body decays. Anything that is decaying nature is Sharira. Just put it to Anicca. Khayatena Anicca. That which declines or diminishes or fades is Anicca. So close. So if I were to cut open this body, what do I get? Nothing. Anatta. There's no atta, bhava in that. So the question in the way of explanation in the Anatta Lakkana Sutta 22.59, SN 22.59, is Buddha asked this question. Can you make your body in this way? Can you make your feeling in this way? Can you make your perception in this way? Can you make the preparation, choices, volitions, or whatever we want to put it in English in this way? And can you make the consciousness behave in this way? And the answer is no. So if I want to have an Anitya Bodh experience, what should I do? I have to always see the anatta nature. And then what happens? Anitya is seen. Even if I were to go by that word called as impermanent, it works. Why? Because I have developed my discerning ability of anatta. What is this anatta feeling? Is coming due to hetu abhava, cause and effect.
What I mean to say is, if you witness, then you become third person.
Yes.
Right? Then only you can say this is impermanent.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's always permanent. Like if I see myself as Vilas, no matter how much Dhamma I know I'm Vilas.
Yeah, that's why Anatta has grasped first. And then Anicca is seen in it.
Yes. So you get a bodha of Anicca when you understand Anatta.
Yeah. Otherwise, if someone is too much into Atta, it's difficult to explain them. He will say, yes, I know I am going to die, but deep down he knows he's not going to die.
So that is the reason the Sakkaya Ditthi has to be broken to get into Buddha Dhamma. And it becomes like a third party experience now. And hence he becomes Sakadagami. Why? What is there to possess? There's nothing to possess. Absolutely free, actually. The birth is happening due to possession. If they lets go of the possession, there is a question of getting rebirth for several number of eons. So he gets only one. How? Let's understand that. Why Buddha said not more than 7 births or not more than one in the case of Sakadagami. So let's take this. Sakkaya Ditthi not being there. What it really means? That he has discerned anatta, lakhana for himself. That means e dhamma hetu pabhava is understood. He has understood the cause and effect. How this body has come to be and how the body is going away. How the feeling is coming to be, how the feeling is going away. How the perception is coming to be, and how the perception is going away. How the choices or preparation are coming to be, and how the choices or preparation are going away. How the consciousness is coming to be, and how the consciousness is going away. If he understands this, the Sila Bhatta Paramas, or in Sanskrit, Sila Vrata Parama Ashraya, considering that morality and the rituals would take you to the highest, that is gone because it's based upon the cause and effect, not because of my belief. My belief has got nothing to do with cause and effect. It's basically cause and effect. So when I know the cause and effect, then the Visiki Ichcha is not there. Because I'm seeing cause and effect. There's nothing to be talked about whether I like Buddha Dhamma, I don't like Buddha Dhamma, irrespective whether I like or I don't like, whether I agree or disagree. The cause and effect is there. That means law of causation is there. For everything there's a law of causation. So I can't say there is no cause for this effect or this effect is without a cause or this cause is without an effect. Both are wrong. I know there is a cause and effect. What's the cause? The name is the cause. For an effect of feeling, I exist. Simple. So when the cause is removed, then the name is removed. Do I still feel as myself? No. Wow. Such a relief. With that relief, for ending the journey, meaning for getting deeper into the 5 aggregates and then understanding the dukkha and then patisamutpada, understanding with the 4 noble truths will take him 7 lives as per Buddha. That is the time based upon 4 factors. 1, Vipachitanyu, Ugatitanyu, Neya, or the Parama. And the Parami is what that person has. So he has looked into that and said, okay, take 7. Not more than 7. That means he will not have 8. And the same thing with Sakadagami. Why? What is there to possess? He has gone even more detailed than Asotapanna. He has seen that E Dhamma, there's a Sakka who says this, E Dhamma Nalam Abhinivesaya. Anything, thing is not worth holding on to. Abhinivesa is Abhi plus Nivesa. Vesa is garb, cloth, like this. I'm putting a cloth on this. On this frame, there's a cloth. Abhinivesa is thinking that this cloth is mine. This is close to me. Anything cannot be put to your heart, close to your heart, and holding it like this. Ye dhamma na lam, na alam, not worth. Alam means worth. Now alam means not worth. Abhinivesaya. Okay, so in the Parinibbana Sutta, he talks about this. If I have experienced that for myself as just a word here, if I've experienced, I again as a just as a language, have experienced, what happens? It splits up into 5 parts. The Rupa is Rupa, Vedana is Vedana, Sanya is Sanya, Sankhara is Sankhara, Vijnana is Vijnana. In that way, there is no possession. And I don't possess Sakdaga. Now, if I have done this far, how about no Kama, Chanda and Vyapada? Because now you can see that there is no one existing per se. It's just a conceptual way of saying. Hey, today is Wednesday. Just a conceptual way of saying, yeah, today is Wednesday. Hey, I'm your wife. Or I'm your husband. Or I'm your friend. I'm your brother. I'm your sister. I'm so and so. It's Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. So there can't be anything called Kama Chanda. And there is no Vyapara. So Anagami happens. So the 5 lower fetters are removed. And then my Anitya Bodh is increasing in intensity. And that takes me to Arhat. Goenka ji is right that if you go by Anitya Bodh, Anitya, keep on meditating on Anitya, you will become an Arhat. Failing which you become an Anagami. If you go by this Ajahn Chah, in one of that discourses, he says, if anybody asks me anything, I will say it's uncertain. So if somebody says that, will this happen? Instead of saying Viparinama Dhamma, he says, I make Anicca as uncertain. Instead of calling it as impermanence. And in some places he says impermanence, in some places he says uncertain. Now let's understand whether that also will work. Yes, at this level that also will work because I have seen Anatta. So now you name whatever you want to name for Anicca. It doesn't matter because I am seeing arising and falling away. I know the cause and effect. So it doesn't make my mind worked up on what should be the definition for Anicca. Should it be whatever arises passes away, or should it be not as per my wish, or not as per my choice, not as per my condition, or it is impermanent, or it is uncertain, or it is whatever language I can define that as. But have I seen Anatta? If yes, Anicca is seen. And because it is Anicca, meaning it really doesn't exist that way, and hence it is impermanent. And whatever is impermanent is you try to make it permanent. By naming it, it will not change. Its nature is impermanent. I can name it as stable, but that is impermanent. Or I can name it as Vilas forever, but it is impermanent because body is decaying. Vilas might not decay as a name, but the decay is happening. So when the decay is happening, can I not have dukkha? Indeed, yes. So what? Yadanicham, Yadanicham tad dukkham. Yad dukkham tad anatta. So if something is anicca, called by whatever language, then it should lead to dukkha. Why? Because it's diminishing. It is going away. So if I look at the Paticamutpanna in depth, then I can see, Anicca has these 5 things. What? It is Sankata. Whatever I'm calling as I, as Vilas, is conditioned. It is brought about. If it is brought about, it should go through Patisamutpada cycle. Patisamutpanna. It has come into existence due to a condition, dependent on the condition, the very condition on which the Sankata is. If it is Sankata and Paticca Samutpanna like this, it has 4 Dhamma. What are the nature of the Dhamma? Dhamma, that is a Dhamma, that one we are talking about. It has 4. Kaya, Vaya, Viraga, Nirodha. This is the nature. Whether I see in the tree or see in the plant, see in sand, see in the mud, see in the earth or water, air, fire, whatever it is, these 4 conditions. It is Kaya Dhamma, Vaya Dhamma, Viraga Dhamma, Nirodha Dhamma. So the 3 things which I am seeing now, the cause is the Anicca, the nature is Anicca. And how it is Anicca is defined by the other 2 ones, which is Sankata and Paticca. Now I have understood Anicca. No matter what it is called as, can be called uncertain, can be called as Anitya, can be called as impermanence, can be called by whatever name, possible name that can be given. But this will not change. Whether somebody agrees, somebody disagrees, somebody fights, somebody does whatever, it doesn't matter. It is going to remain like this. Yad aniccham tad dukkham, yad dukkham tad anatta. With that, I've crossed over. Yes.
This sentence now, yad aniccham tad dukkham, and yad dukkham tad anatta. At that time, some misconception happens, practically, I'm saying, that why anicca and dukkha is not me, not myself. Is it because I am permanent?
Yeah, in the mind, there is a permanency. Like Vilas is a permanent entity in the mind because it's been continuously called as Vilas. So it has.
Yeah. So in that sense, I am creating wrong ditti also, no? That
Yes. There is a wrong view.
See, this sensation or whatever is anicca, so it is dukkha, so it cannot be me because I am permanent. So indirectly, I am creating a mithya ditti.
Initially, yes, when you see that, that's a reason for the Michcha Ditti, Samma Ditti Sutta comes to aid, where the monks are confused and Sariputta explains to them in different ways on the Samma Ditti. So one Samma Ditti is for us, is to understand how the body comes. Ahara Samudayo, Rupa Samudayo. That we have to keep.
And also that, yet dukkham tad anatta. Why dukh should not be me?
No, if it is, yes, that I is there, then you would make it as sukha.
What do you mean? If I am, then
If there was a controlling faculty where you could control the way, why would you see if it is anicca, let's say impermanent, whatever is impermanent is going to bring you dukkha only, it can't bring you sukha.
Yeah, so that the real definition of anicca is uncontrollable.
It's uncontrollable, right? So you can't
not only impermanent.
you can't control. And that is the question what he asked. Can you make rupa as per your liking? Can you make the feeling as per what you want?
Yeah.
In that Anatta Lakkana Sutta, he starts with Anatta. He doesn't, then he says this is Anicca. But actually, he starts with Anatta. And that's the reason, that's the second Sutta. For the 5 ascetics, 5 of his friends, after the Dhammacakka Pavattana Sutta. It's a continuation of that, actually, if you see it.
And that's why the anicca definition of impermanent is not sufficient.
It's not sufficient, correct. Because if you understand this 7 Lakkana, that is Anicca, Sankata, Patisamutpanna, Khaidama, Vaidama, Viragadama, Nirodhadama. It doesn't matter whether you call by whatever name you want. But unless I have the ability to break this, it becomes difficult to understand Anitya. When you say Anitya, 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 when Goenka ji keeps on repeating on Anitya, the person really cannot penetrate into Anitya because he still has Atta. I have gone to Vipassana is there. I am doing a 10-day retreat is there. I am doing a 20-day retreat is there. I am doing a 30-day retreat is there. I am is there. And so Anicca cannot be seen or Anitya cannot be seen.
In fact, even this definition of Anitya as impermanence, there also I find misguiding. Even the Sanskrit word Anitya does not mean impermanent.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, that is true. But what has happened over a period of time is that we have made it like a definition. Right? It is much more than a definition. But then when you conceptualize into a definition, the definition sticks. And when the definition sticks, we would like our mind gets associated with that definition and consider that this is how it is.
Yeah, that's how we build the concept.
Yes. So now it is convention. So if somebody says Anicca, it is immediately translated as Anitya. And if somebody says Atta, Anatta, it is made it as Anatma, non-self. So then it becomes difficult. Then you directly creates two sects. One who believes in self and one who doesn't believe in self. So one believing in self is Atma Bhava. And one who doesn't believe in self becomes Anatma Bhava. Now, if there is no Atma and Anatma, if you are supposed to take one view as Atma or you take another view as Anatma, it becomes something like what Buddha talks about, two extremes. So one extreme is Kama Sukhalukanu Yogo, then another extreme is Attakila Matanu Yoga. Only two extremes. It loses the middle path because I now am forced to take either one view. If I was all along Atta, now I made it as Anatta in Sanskrit word or in English word or whatever that word is. It's a feeling of Atta rather being Anatma or Atma. It's not about really there is an Atma or no Atma. It's a feeling what you get as Anatta or Atta. I get a feeling of Atta. I am possessing this body. I am possessing this eye. I am possessing this ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, like that. It's I who is getting it. So
whatever way you define the I,
yes,
that is Atta.
That is Atta. So I can't define it in any other way except for the five aggregates. So the first thing I need to understand is the five aggregates than anything else. Then I experience Anatta, irrespective of what it's called in Sanskrit or English or Spanish or French or German or whatever. Yes, Ariu.
Yeah, I have a kind of general question about these five aggregate, because the five aggregate is just a special case of understanding Namarupa, right? Let's say in the Nagasena's case, it's at the chariot or whatever. So let's say you understand the table, there's no really table but legs. And so how is that related to understand the five aggregate? Let's say take someone who can understand the example of the chariot. Does that mean he necessarily can understand the five aggregate, or how does these relate?
Okay, good question. First, I'll appreciate for that question. Now, in a non-living thing, you can go by chariot example with designation and all. But in a living thing, how can you do it? The same one, because it has feeling, you have to make it like a five aggregate. But the point, because it's living. See, chariot doesn't have feeling. Chariot doesn't have perception. Chariot doesn't do anything. And chariot doesn't have any consciousness coming here, there, or wherever. Whereas in a living thing, like me, versus table, The table doesn't say me, even though it is stable. To that extent, I can understand. Yes.
I guess.
And for 5 aggregate, the primordial condition is first.
Yes.
The rupa is the first. Otherwise, it is 4, 5 element only, right?
Yes. See, now,
The
what is the origin?
The table rupa comes up first. That first
Yes,
is
see, that's correct. For
then
anything,
it is accompanied by the other 4 aggregates.
correct. So if we understand phassa, then you have understood everything. You don't have to understand anything more than that. The starting point is phassa, then the vedana. If you understand phassa, if you understand the father, so the son. I mean, you don't have to study the son. You study the father. That's it, sufficient. Only when I miss phassa, I need to go for the next condition, which is vedana. Okay.
That's what we were doing, na, that all that magic of Vijnana is magician, and we were seeing those images which were creating different.
Correct.
So that first happens. Otherwise, I cannot see the whole lady if you say. That means there is no first.
No, yes, that's there are two ways. One as a phassa, which creates vedana, but it's a neutral vedana. So you don't feel anything. The moment you see, hear, taste, touch, smell, there is phassa.
Yeah. To simplify, first will always be there. At least you will see a picture.
Yes.
At least someone will say, okay, there is cloud. But someone will see an elephant in the cloud.
Correct.
So for normal person, cloud is the person. But for that person, his elephant is the person. He
Correct.
sees the rupa is elephant. For me, rupa is cloud.
Agreed. So now if we take that example only, Sachin, and look at the anicca, dukkha, anatta in this. So first is the atta. I saw the cloud, I saw the elephant. Because elephant is a concept, so is the cloud. But I saw. Eyes saw versus I saw is a huge difference. If there is an eye, you're going to see, meaning I is going to see. So cause and effect. So when you see cause and effect, there is no atta. Yes, Aryu.
I guess for a normal person, it'll be easier. Like a first step would to break the nama rupa in, let's say, a car, and then it leads to breaking the 5 aggregate as nama rupa, because then you have to have the observer. Then
See, there are 3 loka. One is the satta loka. Then there is sankhara loka. There is okasa loka. 3 loka. The thing are made in okasa loka. Okasa loka is a thing, meaning table, chair, mountain, this, that is all okasa loka. So the first thing I need to understand is the satta loka. Satta means sattva, which has life. Then the thing I need to understand is sankhara loka, how the sankharas are formed, how the conditions are formed. The third one I need to understand is the okasa loka. There are 3 loka. So when we talk about chariot in the Milinda Panha, Milinda is knowing what is okasa loka and what is satta loka. And he is also well versed with sankhara loka. So he is agreeing with Nagasena based upon that. Got the point?
no. So how does Milinda familiar with?
He knows,
satta?
right? He starts with that question. He starts with that means he knows Buddha teaching.
Oh yeah, he has his teeth, and okay, yeah.
He says, right? Can you introduce yourself? And then he explains everything about Buddha Dhamma in that.
Yeah, I thought that's a way of. I was wondering how could he already be so familiar with the Dhamma? Like
Why? He would be. In fact, if it is bacteria and Greece and all these places, they had people going from India and talking about it. So they knew the concept, but they might not know in depth. So what Nagasena made him to realize is to understand in depth rather than the concept. All that complete chapters of or Vagga or the divisions of Nagasena and Milinda, he is talking about that. Okay, that's the nearest to Buddha Dhamma, original Buddha Dhamma after 500 years of Buddha. The nearest you can consider.
So Nagasena, using the example of chariot, helped Milinda see the five aggregate in the same way.
Yes, he could understand because he covers that. If you have read the question carefully, he says, is Nagasena Rupa, is Nagasena Vedana, Nagasena Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, all that he speaks, right? Only Buddha, people who know something of Buddha teaching can talk about five aggregates.
Yeah. I was wondering, why does he talk like a Buddha? In that way?
No, he is aware, but he
He's
might
aware.
not be as knowledgeable as Nagasena. In fact, have you observed, there's a next question from the teacher itself, from one of the teacher. He asked Nagasena. That's an even more better question.
I haven't read the past.
I thought five aggregate is very common word because even layman who comes and Buddhas is Vijnana permanent.
No, they know it. See, they know it. It's like,
Even first comer.
no, the thing is, how it has happened in the Sutta Pitaka is that it seems though everyone knows it. Yes, because if you observe the Indian society at that point in time, it's all about two kind of people, or rather three kind of people. One who believe in the God. Okay, Sasattavada. That means it always exists and there's a creator. Asattavada. That is no creator, nothing, you can do whatever you want. And Samana. In Sanskrit, Shramana. So, Paribhajaka in Pali is Parivrajaka in Sanskrit, which means ascetics. Ascetic are those people who don't agree with this side people who will say asatta, and they don't agree with people who say sasatta. Got the point? Parivrajaka means one who is wandering in search of reality, who is searching for reality. There is always two classes of people. One who says, even today, the church and the temple and mosque and all of that, they say God is there. And whatever we call, say, communist or whatever we want to name them as, ajivikas, are those people who say that these guys are wasting time and the life is all about to be enjoyed here and now. Instead of working and doing everything what is required, they're just spending their time in unnecessary things. Even today, there are people who are in search for reality. So, if we take ours, we are actually parivrajaka or paribhajaka, which means literally wandering in search of reality.
On the net.
So then also it existed, now also it exists. Right? Those who have comforted themselves, saying that God will take care of me. Sattavada. Those who have comforted themselves, there's no God, there's nothing like that, I can do whatever I want in this world. So enjoy. But the person who is really finding the dukkha is the one who is called a parivrajaka or paribhajaka, because he is in search of reality. So whoever came to Buddha were the people who rejected these two views. They might be Brahmins, they might be whatever, but they were wanderers. They are wandering in search of reality. They keep on meeting different teachers and trying to find their essence. So they bring from Sanjay Balatiputta, talk to Buddha. They take the Buddha teaching and talk to somebody else, and they take something. So like that, everybody knows to a certain degree of what Buddha speaks. You're on mute. You're on mute.
I think the Rupa, Sanya and Vedana, these words are common in that time, I think.
Yes, the Sanya.
Sankhara, was also a common word, but Buddha has interpreted it differently.
No, some sankhara was there even before Buddha. Buddha
Yeah.
has reused the words in a much appropriate
Yeah.
way.
But Vijnana is the new word.
Vijnana is a new word.
It
Vijnana
was
is called
already also there, but it had totally different concept.
No.
Vijnanmaya Kosa is
Chitta was there. The
Yeah.
Chitta was there. It was called Chit, that
Yeah.
shines. So what Buddha did is to make it as Vijnana so that it doesn't create confusion about.
We have something called Vijnanmaya Kosa, right, in Hinduism. So it was Chitta only, basically.
Yes, it's Chitta. So if you take the koshas, the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, the 5 koshas. The 4th kosha is Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is Vijnana. To know what it is. So in the Kajjaniya Sutta, Buddha explains about what is Vijnana. He says that which tastes, 6 tastes, is Vijnana. It knows. So it can discriminate. This is sweet. This is sour. This is pungent, and this is hot, like that. So if I say I'm Vijnana, what really it means is that the discriminator between this and that. So if somebody says discrimination is permanent, no, discrimination is dependent on the causes. If you put salt in your mouth, it doesn't taste sweet. It will taste salt only. That means it's immediately discriminates itself as salt. If you put sugar in your mouth, it is not going to create salt. It is going to create sweet.
So basically, all these 5 words were known. So Buddha has not brought it up. But Buddha said whether it is permanent or not, Anicca or Nitya.
No, he called it as whether it is atta or not. First you understand whether can you define it, can you change it the way it is, or rather are you misunderstanding it? So these people knew Anicca Dukkha Anatta.
So he wanted to find out whether you are stuck with one of them or not.
Yes. Have you understood it or not? So then when the discussion happens, the many suttas, and then he asks, is Rupa Anicca? Yes. Yes, Bhante. Is Vedana Anicca? Yes, Bhante. Sanya Anicca? Yes, Bhante. Sankhara Anicca? Yes, Bhante. Vijnana Anicca? Yes, Bhante. So if anything is Anicca, is it going to give you dukkha or sukha?
Yeah. It seems so simple, right? He says 5 times yes, but in practical session, even saying 5 years would have been difficult for someone.
Yes, that's correct. Yes. Yes, Arif.
For all these people in the sutta, when he's saying is it anicca and they say yes, these are not necessarily sotapannas or and all those.
No,
right?
no,
So
no.
when they say yes, does not mean they truly know Anicca Bodh.
No,
Or-
they don't know. So when he talks, and then in the end they say, just like a stone overturned, and now I have understood. So from today you can consider me as a lay follower, like that.
So in that sense, since they don't really know Anicca Bodh, and then to which extent are they saying yes to?
So when they turn over, they become Sotapanna, right? So by 5 aggregate, he is usually converting people into Sotapanna.
Sotapanna. See, the thing is like this, Aryu. Your question. They have heard the terms, they have the logic. All the paribrajakas or paribhajakas or the wanderers who came were very logical people. That's the reason they didn't go to these two extremes.
I guess my question is, what did they understand as the question? Is it anicca? Like, why
No,
are they
it is
saying
there in
that?
the sutta. No, in different sutta, they ask different question, and Buddha brings them to this point, and they
No,
understand.
what Arya is saying, when they said yes, and he is Anitya, what they understood, he is asking.
No, that they understood, they understood. Right now, we can't say what they understood, and I want to understand what they understood. That is, unless that person comes and tells you, it is impossible.
Because they are laymen, so that's what.
Aryu, if you look at it, let's take some sutta. There is a Brahmin who comes and he asks. Brahmin means what? He's understood. Many things he has understood. Okay, he's understood means he knows it. Like the MN 136.
He studied it. Actually, in those times, only Brahmin were allowed to study. So
Correct. So he knows it. He knows of all the different tradition systems which are there. They have come there not to test Buddha's knowledge, to understand what is he trying to say.
So yes, I understand this about this point, right? But let's say I go to my friend, I say it's Rupa Anicca. He would like, what is that? And he wouldn't say yes, right? So for these people, obviously they see yes, but they haven't truly seen the yes in that in the real sense. So where's the gap in what they're seeing? Is that
what he's saying is even simplified way. If you would have asked me, I would have also said yes.
No,
Like, if you ask me, Sachin, your body is impermanent, I would say yes.
Yeah.
You are feeling your body, it is also impermanent, I would say yes.
okay. So now you need to understand there are 6 schools, 6 darshanas from the beginning. The first one is Sankhya. The second one is Vaisheshika. The third one is Nyaya. The fourth one is Mimamsa. The fifth one is Yoga. The sixth one is Vedanta. Yep, there are 6 darshanas which has been there during whatever time frame you can think of. Before Buddha, after Buddha, during Buddha, all that. The people who used to come and speak to Buddha were people who knew investigation, Mimamsa, and Buddha used the same word, Mimamsa. The meaning of Mimamsa is one who goes and searches, finds out what it is. That means they are logicians. When you say logician, they have Nyaya. In fact, in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, okay, it talks about what? Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sango, Ujupatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sango. Nyaya, Patipanno, the same thing. Nyaya. Nyaya is one school which talks about how to have logical reasoning. Samichi Patipanno, so like that. Now coming to this, those people who approached Buddha were knowledgeable of this. Now you're asking how they were knowledgeable. That school of thought makes all of that. Okay, now if I take my own past life, I know all of this. Maybe I'm not able to recollect everything of it, but whenever I sit and meditate, I can see about all of this. So if somebody talks Vaisheshika to me, I can understand. If somebody speaks Nyaya to me, I can understand. If somebody talks Mimamsa, I can understand. If somebody talks about Vedanta, I can understand. The reason being that schools existed. Okay. Now, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess in probably they understood just the simplified, like a superficial meaning, like Sachin said, impermanent or something like that.
No, not like that. Not like
Vilas
that.
is saying not that way.
Not that way.
Even the lay persons who are coming to Buddha are not lay. Even how then?
Not like that. They have logic and reasoning. They have understood. But they have not completely understood what is he trying to say. So they come with an argument which makes Buddha understand what is he trying to say, and then he brings him back into this argument. After explaining various things, he brings him to the... Now that you agree like this, do you see this as Anicca or you see it's a Nicca? He says, no, it's Anicca.
So he is concluding to this by aggregate Anicca.
Yes. And then that's the reason they pick it up. They understand. They become Sotapanna. Now I know. Just like a stone overturned. And in every sutta it is there almost. That stone overturned is there. Why? Because all along they know, but they are not experienced. And Buddha made them experience what should be experienced. Now you are asking me this. How did they know? They know because the schools exist.
Oh, just like in what's the Aganya Sutta, they keep on saying all these words were there, but their meaning are,
Distorted.
obscure.
Yeah, obscure.
So all these, they're saying, like, point out what's hidden and all that. So they're saying the same thing, the hearing in a different way, they understood the true meaning of it.
They get it. So when they get it, they are enlightened. So when they are enlightened, then they say that, why don't you take me as your disciple? Because they have to go into the lower of the rank. That's a practice. Even when Shankaracharya won a lot of debates, the people who joined from the other sect, they came to the lowest of the rank and then grow in their rank. That's the agreement. In fact, Nyaya says about how one who loses, what he should do. There's a complete theorem for that, if you were to talk about. And it's a very nice field, Nyaya Vaisheshika Mimamsa. Beautiful one. So Purva Mimamsa means the Vedic way of fighting or bringing the truth. And the Uttara Mimamsa is Vedanta. Vedanta is actually Mimamsa, investigation. You investigate the reality.
So Nyaya is kind of like a scientific paper system where they compete, and through argument, the one
even today, all the researchers are doing Nyaya. They're bringing out what is real, what is unreal. That's how it works. So these schools of thoughts exist, except for Sankhya, which doesn't talk about self or God or anything like that. The remaining thing talks about God, an entity, which is doing something, or an higher being, or some energy, some source. Okay. Now, when they came to Buddha, they came up with a absoluteness, absolute existence, absolute non-existence. So the fight is on not whether Buddha Dhamma is right or wrong. The fight is on whether absolutely something is there or absolutely something is not there. So the Buddha's answer, anatta, is in terms of absoluteness. Can you absolutely say Rupa is yours? And the answer is no. Why? The body is dead. It's fallen on the road. You can't say it is mine. Okay, great. Feelings associated with it, are they yours? No. The perception what you have, that this is my body, is it true? No. And the preparations or the choices or the conditions or whatever you are doing, is that real? No. Okay, then the conscious experience what you're getting, can you say that it's mine? No. Now you were all along saying, I exist. Now you're saying, I don't exist. And then they say, yes, Gautama, today you have opened up my eyes. It's not about obvious and non-obvious. It's about absoluteness. In Buddha Dhamma, there is no absoluteness. And hence, Ajahn Chah calls it as uncertain. There's nothing absolute. Anicca is non-absoluteness, basically. All of us wants absolute, because that is when the mind finds peace, that in absolute. Tell me absolutely whether it is this way or that way. What is your way? And Buddha always refers it as non-absolute sense.
One and zero are absolute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, in the Aggivacha Sutta, a beautiful one, where Vacha keeps on asking, beautiful question, what? Anyam jivam, anyam shariram. Anya means other. Jiva can be called as a being, can be called as soul, can be called by whatever name. Jiva is that which is living. And anyam shariram. one body is different and this is different. Ayurveda talks Sharira is Shiyate iti Sharira. That means what is decaying is Sharira. Now, Jiva is one, Sharira is one, or Jiva and Sharira both are one. Why? Because he wants to know in absolute sense. If Jiva is different and Sharira is different, it goes into Sasattavada. If Jiva and Sharira are the same, it goes to Uchchedavada. So I want in absolute sense. Will the being exist after death, or will the being will not be there after death? That's a question for everyone actually. Even now, if you were to ask yourself, you have a fear. After death, where will I go? And that's a question. Because I want to know absolutely where I am going. Tell me, where am I going? It's true. If you really investigate, you'll find that you now also have it. As we speak, we have it. We want an absolute answer. Why are we in Buddha Dhamma? To know the answer. Know the answer of what? We are not afraid of living. We are afraid of dying. It's not that death is going to do something to us. I want to know where I will be after death. That's the quest of every human being. He believes in God because he feels that God will take care of him after death. He doesn't believe in God or anything because he knows after this body ending, the consciousness also ends. So there's nothing like that. Only two views you can take. What else view can you take?
Yeah, but both provides comfort.
Absolutely no. See, I want that absolute. We use that word quite frequently. Absolutely, absolutely. Why? Because we want to rest in that. We want to feel comfortable. My question is answered. Either this way or that way. So it should be Sasattavada or Uchchedavada. Annihilation or self. Who is going to die? Self. Isn't it worried? Let's say I go on the road and I met with an accident and I die. It's not dying I have a problem, but where will I be reborn has a problem. If death was having a problem, we didn't have any problem actually. It's where I am going to be born is the problem.
I feel like a lot of people who believe in nihilism, they would think that is not scary because they feel just nothing.
Yes.
But still, they have a fear of
Yeah,
that.
they have a fear internally.
That's a weird thing because if they're so sure about that, then they wouldn't.
No,
be fear.
both will have fear. The one, nobody can say I don't have fear. The fear will go only when you see Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, then the fear is gone. Otherwise, there's always a fear. Why? Because deep down you see there is an absolute sense for you. This absolute existence in you. There is an absolute existence. Anyway,
concept of absolute existence.
Yeah, concept of absoluteness is there. It's there. So first thing that breaks away after Sakadagami is this absolute feeling, because there's no possession. You don't possess either side, either the annihilationist or this side. You lose both. And an Anagami, you don't have any problem now. Arhat anyway doesn't have any problem. So the basic thing is to understand this Anitya Bodh or the uncertain is with relation to what? Is it with relation to Anatta? The moment you experience Anatta, the very moment you can discern the Anicca in depth. Meaning, as we keep on working it out, Anatta goes to the top.
Yeah, that's why who am I quest should always be there. Otherwise, You will see everything else as Anitya, but you are perfect.
Yes.
If this theory doesn't come to you,
Yes.
it
Absolutely.
doesn't break you. If every experience, like whole life, you will keep meditating, but you will not feel.
Yeah. Okay. So let's. Yeah. Aryu, last question before I close.
No, I was just thinking because only when you take yourself out of the whole equation and you see
The reality.
anicca in this five, but this is a jump, right? You require a jump to be in this position.
Yes.
Quantum jump.
Yes. It's a quantum jump. Yes. Correct. Okay. Think it over. So we will meet some other day again. Meaning in this week we again can meet. But this discernment, this thinking would help a lot in terms of Vipassana. Again, on Vipassana. All right, so Goenka ji is talking about Anitya Bodh and Ajahn Chah talking about uncertain is valid. Then we know the nature is Anicca has Sankata, Patisamutpanna, Kaidama, Vaidama, Viragadama, Nirodha. When we experience this Dhamma, four Dhammas, in these three, then you have discerned Anitya Bodh.
And in fact, if the person is full of quest, full of like that wonder kind of people who are not ready accepting anything,
Yes,
then any practice will lead him to this realization.
absolutely.
Even this uncertain what Goenka is saying, if I keep practicing and I still have the quest in me, who am I? It will breakthrough will happen.
Yeah, it will happen.
Otherwise, observing sensation will become syllabus for me.
Yeah, it's correct. Correct. It becomes an habitual pattern. That's it. Nothing else. Good. All right. Good day to everyone and good night, Ariu. Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye.